tell me, was it a bad day at work? No, it wasn't a bad day at work. Then why the mopey face? I told you it was nothing. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight I'm taking a look at the Medicom MAFEX Star Wars The Force Awakens FN-2187, which is essentially Finn in his Stormtrooper gear. Now, to tell you the truth, I completely forgot I pre-ordered this. I'm excited, and he does look cool, but yeah, there's just something about it that hits me wrong? I don't know. Maybe it's my mood today, or maybe it's something else, but Now, just for reference, I never got the standard First Order Stormtrooper in the MAFEX line, so I don't know the quality on it. If I remember right, I heard good things, so I'm hoping for the same here. Looking at the box, it's what we're used to now with the MAFEX line. The black, the big window, shows everything in the box, pretty picture, logos. And while I was digging through my stacks of stuff I haven't opened yet, I found this, which gives you an idea of the old look for the MAFEX boxes. And really, when you look at it, it's the graphics and stuff from the clearance section at Walmart or wherever else. The masks, the cheap stuff. This looks way busy. I prefer this black box. On the side, get a pretty promotional picture of Finn. On the back, same picture, some others, the mask, the guns, the head, logos, legal stuff, couple of unreadables. Probably says something like, do not stand with the rest of your First Order figures. Probably run away on its own. On the other side, pretty picture of Finn in the mask. Star Wars logo on top. Bunch of unreadables on bottom. But I'm going to get this open and see what's going on here. And there we go, all out of the package. And if the First Order Stormtrooper is as good as this, then I may need to go back and grab one of those. Because this figure, great articulation, great sculpt, and most of all, great QC. Which, talking about a MAFEX figure, has taken some getting used to. Now, I'm not saying this is perfect, but we'll get to that. Now, sculpt-wise, I'm assuming that this is the same figure, at least the body, as the First Order Stormtrooper figure. But you know what they say about assuming. It usually makes me look like an asshole. But this is a great little sculpt. There's nothing left to paint detail. And you know what I mean, like the black obrowns on his chest all in a line, it's actually sculpted in. It's not just paint detailing on top of a flat surface. Little grooves, little sculpted details. From what I can tell, everything seems to be here. And then as far as paint goes, at least the body, most of it's molded in the correct colors, and then there's black overlaid on top, which when you come back with just straight black, it's pretty easy to get everything matched up and, you know, looking cohesive. There may be a stray edge, just a couple of places, but for the most part, it's nice and clean. And then we get up to the head. Now we know Medicom's really pumping their face printing technology, and it works here, but they're still not quite there yet. The sculpt of the head itself is great. It looks like Finn, but I think the colors coming in is a little bit wrong. The skin tone's a little bit dark, even though there is shading in there, so I appreciate that. And then the eyes just seem a little bit plain in there. And I guess what sticks out at me, really, are the eyebrows. On the promotional pictures, you can kind of see that the eyebrows were kind of faded into the skin, and here they're just kind of lines on top of it. They still look good. They're properly shaped. It's just not as realistic looking as the prototype. And it seems like it's just sculpted really angry, which I guess is all right, but it kind of cuts down on the pictures you can take, who you can put them with, you know what I mean? It's just always raw. I don't mind the eyes looking out the top because it gives him a little bit of character, it gives him a little bit of attitude, but it's always that attitude. Body-wise, I have no joint issues, but I do have issue with these shoulder pads. I wish they would stop attaching them to the body above the arm. I'm afraid to get it too far up. I'm afraid it's going to snap off, and I do not want that to happen. Also, with only getting that much out of it, you can't get the arm all the way up without it looking funky. And then when you come back down, it sticks out. You gotta kind of shape it back down. So yeah, I don't like that setup. And then, if you'll notice this knee pad, it's got black on top, black on bottom. This knee pad, there's not as much black, more black on bottom, and that's because this one's flipped upside down. It took me a minute to figure out what was going on. I tried to articulate the knee, trying to get it in place, but yeah, you can see that the dip down, this one dips up and up. So I'm going to have to see if that just pulls off. It feels like it's really glued on there. It's going to take some prying or some heat or something to get that off there. But I figure it's just to pop off, glue it back on the right way kind of situation. Going over articulation, there's a dumbbell at the top of the neck going up into the head, and then there's a dumbbell at the bottom. So it gives you a good range of movement in the head. I mean, I'm talking, you can tilt all the way over, chin on the chest, looks pretty much all the way up. That's fantastic range of movement there. Shoulder is a ball going into the torso, coming out to a hinge. So you can get forward, you can get back, you can get up, you can get down. You get out about to right there. It crashes on the peg coming out from the ball joint. And I don't know why they have the shoulder pad covering it up. They could have brought the clearance out even further, but whatever. And then rotate around, but like I said, the shoulder pad gets in the way. You're not going to get up past that. There's a swivel at the bicep hidden under the armor. Double elbow comes up to about right there. There's a ball in the wrist. You get up and down, get swivel, and then if you maneuver it around, you can get up and down hinge, side to side hinge, whichever direction you want to go. There's a dumbbell ball top joint in the mid torso and then in the waist, so you can get forward. Because of the armor, it doesn't want to come as far as it probably could. Back, side, pretty good range of movement all the way around. I notice the more I move it around, the more this on the back starts coming around to the side, so you gotta adjust that back, bring that back around. Now the hips are on a ball coming out to the hip, and there's also a shift down there, so that helps out direction. Forward, it starts kicking into the crotch plate right here, so it starts coming out. Back, not too bad. You pop it down, you get more range, and it's more of a, like a snap up to regular position. And then there's a swivel in the thigh. Double knee comes up to about right there. Swivel in the ankle, then there's a hinge, goes back, goes forward, a little bit of rocker ankle, and then a toe joint comes up to about right there. Now for accessories, FN-2187 comes with a set of fists, also comes with a set of splayed open hands, and then he comes with a set of trigger fingers, one for right, one for left. Now switching out the hands, there's not a lot of peg there, if any at all, so it's kind of a friction thing that holds the hands on. The fists came on it in the package, so they're easy to slide on and off. The other hands in the package are a little bit tougher because they haven't been slid on, but they go right on there, and that's actually a pretty tight fit. Now the trigger fingers are to hold the weapons. He comes with the standard Stormtrooper blaster. It's a great little sculpt, lots of little detail in it, but what I like is the paint here. There's black, there's silver, there's even a little bit of red on the other side. I don't think they missed any kind of detail on this thing. And then he comes with the smaller pistol. Again, nice little detail all over it. Not as many paint apps, but I'm glad to have a different weapon again. I know we've gotten this with a couple of other things, but to get it again, yeah, I dig it. Now it's easy enough to put those in his hand. It's just slide the trigger finger in. He holds it really, really well. But both weapons also come with two pegs on the side right there, and that can plug into his thigh. That one, and also the bigger one. Two pegs, goes into the thigh. Yeah, not bad at all. And then finally he comes with his helmet with the blood stain on the front. And again, I'm going to keep saying this is a nice sculpt. It's got all these little details, all these little grooves, notches, and then the paint on top of that. I feel like the blood is a little bit just plain, one color splashed on there, but I'm not going to complain too much because of how good it actually looks. It comes up onto the brow a little bit and then down, a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. It looks good. Now it doesn't work like a standard helmet. You got to pop the head off, which is easy to do. You can see the dumbbell joint up there, and then pop the other one on there. And this looks good too. Nice proportions. It looks like there's a head actually under the helmet. But here's where we're going to run into a little bit of give or take, and that's with mixing this figure with your other figures. Now here he is with the MAFEX Captain Phasma. This works perfect. Phasma's taller, she's bigger, just exactly like she's supposed to be. But here he is with the MAFEX Ray, and he gets a little bit tall. If I remember right, in real life, they're the same height, so this seems a little bit tall, but you could almost chalk it up to the armor, adding some height maybe? Maybe under the boot or something, I don't know. I think the problem coming into play here is they just reused the first body from the Stormtrooper, which was a standard trooper, and I think Finn's a little bit shorter than that. A little short for a Stormtrooper. Not so bad is the Bandai model kit. It's about the same size with both of them, but if you do have the Bandai model kit and you mix it in with the rest of your display, you have noticed that it is a little bit large with the other Stormtroopers. Here he is with the Hasbro Black Series Stormtrooper. Not terrible. It's a little bit taller. It's a little bit bigger, but you could probably fudge this into a display with the other Stormtroopers. But with the Hasbro Black Series FN-2187, you can see that they took a little bit out of the height. Hasbro actually went into the torso and removed something somewhere. And as you can see, that's a huge size difference between the MAFEX and the Black Series. And then finally, huge size difference between the MAFEX and the Black Series fin. So at the end of the day, I love the presence of this figure. I love the attitude. I love the articulation. I love the QC after I fix the knee pad. But man, it just seems big. And I should have known that. The MAFEX usually skews larger. Kylo Ren, the Phasma, even the Rey is a little bit tall. But with them reusing the First Order Stormtrooper, I've said that 16,000 times during this review, and I keep going first, and it drives me nuts. But them reusing that body is kind of a negative against this figure, only because Finn is supposed to be a little bit shorter. But that's not to say I'm not going to use this in the display. It looks too good. It's got too much going for it to not put it on the shelf. So I'll have to find some way to fudge the size down a little bit, maybe have him sitting or kneeling or something else. This will go up with the Rebels. It won't go with the rest of the Stormtroopers. I gotta think that Medicom is gearing up for The Last Jedi and what figures they're going to release for that movie. With this head coming out with this body, hopefully we'll see a regular Finn body to go with this head. And hopefully it'll be sized down just a little bit. Because don't get me wrong, I can see the benefits of them reusing this. They get a little bit of money back on this mold. They get a little bit of head. But it just doesn't work here. But damn, it's a nice figure. And I'm glad to be finally saying that about MAFEX more and more. They've had their problems in the past, but they seem to be coming around. Phasma was great. Kylo Ren was great after some tweaks to his robes and such. Boba Fett's, I've been pretty happy with MAFEX lately. If you're a stickler for scale, this is going to piss you off. But if you're okay with a little size difference here, relative scale maybe, so-and-so's taller than this, so-and-so's shorter than this, this will work for you. It looks good. And that's what I'm basically saying. It looks good. It feels good. Take what you may from that. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.